Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today we're going to be talking about fatherhood. This is our part two, and we have Philip Cab on the show today, and he's going to share his story about being a father. Get you something to drink and get you a snack and come on back. All right, Phil, welcome back.
All
Uh,
righty.
let's pick up on what you were talking about on the last show about your daughter Brittany. So I'll just let you take it from there.
All right. Well, yeah, she had called me and told me that she was pregnant, and just asked her like, "So, what are you gonna do?" And she was like, "I'm gonna have the baby." I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right." Um, so then I was deployed. I was about to come home from Bosnia, and so came back. No, she called me. Uh, Maybe a few days later, and she was like, "Guess what?" I'm like, "What?" She was like, "I'm having twins." I'm like,
Wow,
"Oh." I'm like,
really?
I'm like, so you wanted one, now you're having two. I'm like,
Wow.
you really have made college hard for you.
Yeah.
Now, her mom was like, oh, we need to go get her and bring her back and have her stay here and all that. I'm like, why? I'm like, no, she just made college harder for her.
Yeah.
I didn't want her to feel like, oh, I'm having these kids. Now I got to drop out. Now I got to go back
Right. And she
home
was a
and
failure.
reevaluate
Right.
my life, you know. And what she ended up doing, she ended up graduating on time in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the highest, um, she got an award from from Drake, um, for being, I guess it would be the same thing as valedictorian for
Yeah.
her class,
Yeah.
you know. But she she had twins. She didn't miss not one semester of school except when she had them. I was
Yeah.
kind of pissed off at her because she had them a day after my birthday,
Oh,
which
wow.
that kind of pissed me off because I wanted them on my birthday, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you know, but but she took that semester off, that fall semester, but
Yeah.
she went to summer school and she went to the spring semester, and then she went to summer school again so she could stay on track. So she graduated on time. You
Wow.
know, she also was working. She was also helping out with uh, community projects. She wasn't. She didn't sit back and
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
And she didn't look, for handouts because you look
Yeah.
at most women in that situation,
Yeah.
especially with twins,
Yeah.
they'd have been like, "Oh yeah, I need to take a semester off."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, their father wasn't there, but
Yeah.
guess I was. You
Yeah.
know, I made sure, you know, they Paul is there. If they
Yeah.
need to talk to Paul
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
And that's where it goes back to the very beginning where I talk about, it takes a village. You
Yeah.
know, we all need to, even even if someone, you know, I I, I don't want to say that, you know, her getting pregnant was a mistake,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because them boys is something else. I love them to
Yeah.
death, you know,
Yeah.
but even though I won't say mistake, she made a bad choice. I'll say that.
Correct.
She made a bad choice. I still was there to support her.
Yeah.
You know, and even some of her friends that was there at school. And I mean, I give kudos to them because if she had to go to class, some of them was like, "Oh, I'll keep going, guys, for you." You know,
Yeah.
it goes back to that saying again, a village.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, and
Right.
she had that. She
Yeah.
had that. She had that village that was like, "Hey, we're gonna help each other,"
Yeah.
and not just I'm just not gonna look out for myself. You know,
Yeah.
and that's one thing that I wanted to make sure I instilled into my kids. You know, be
Yeah.
there for each other, help each other out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and when you do make a bad choice,
Yeah.
you know, don't worry about it. You live
Yeah.
and you learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
I'm
feel
gonna be
like,
there to help.
yeah, I feel like you and Tiffany, because you guys had her while in college, you
Yeah.
guys were able to provide, should have been able to provide that emotional support for her, to let her know, like, it's going to be okay. You can get through this, and so forth. I think Tiffany probably was looking at it when she said, "Let's go and get her." I think she was looking at it because it was two kids, not one, because that
Yeah.
makes it a little bit challenging. Sometimes you can give, hey, can you watch my baby? When you got two of them that small, that could be challenging. But that's, man, that
Yeah.
she had definitely rose above the stereotype in
Yep.
a where, you get pregnant in college and you got to get things up. I mean, but to me, it tells a lot about her personality too, that she was very tenacious about getting her degree.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
And
so that's awesome.
she's in the process now of getting her master's.
Wow,
You know,
awesome.
she
Yeah, she
she's a
gonna do great
go-getter.
things. Yeah,
She's a
exactly.
go-getter. You know,
Yep,
and
exactly.
and one thing with when it came down to all my kids, her mother was the only one that really was like, "Oh, you want it for the summer? Oh, you can have it for the summer." You
Yeah,
know, and I just feel I, that's one thing that I wish I'd have been able to do with all my kids.
yeah,
Yeah, it would have been rough. You know, we probably would have been eating a lot of, mayonnaise sandwiches,
yeah, yeah,
but we would have been together. And that's
yeah,
one thing about all my kids now, regardless. They was like, "Dad, don't care if you're in a one room shack." They was
hmm.
like, all of us can be in there and we'll all sleep on top of each other, you know.
That's
And
awesome.
we just we're just happy that we're around you,
That's
you
awesome.
know. And I mean, and that's where a lot of I think some parents feel like the best the best way to raise a child is through money, you know,
Yeah,
and
which is
buying
not
things. And it's like that's not teaching that child anything, you know.
correct.
You're just teaching the child like money's gonna solve all your problems.
Yeah,
Money's not gonna solve all your problems, you
yes,
know. And I just, I wish because one thing I did with my kids, because you remember when we were growing up, we had TV shows that we could watch with our family. You know,
correct.
the Cosby Show. Uh, I would even say Cheers. Yeah, but Family House. We
Yeah,
had these family orientated programs that we could watch with our
yeah,
parents or with our mom or with
yeah,
our dad. Nowadays, these kids growing up, we don't have that. So
correct.
what I would do, my kids around, all right, what do you usually watch? And then
Mm.
they'll be like, oh, like Degrassi when that was out, was like, oh, I watched Degrassi. I'm like, okay, cut it on, let's watch it. And I
Yeah,
would sit there and watch it with them,
yeah,
not only to see what they're watching, but also to show them that I care about you.
Yes.
I care about what you like. It's not
Right.
always about what I like.
Yeah.
I care about what you like, and I want to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
Even when it comes down to music, you know,
Yeah.
and that's one thing I had to explain to my kids is that music, this is entertainment. It's
Yeah.
not real life.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
it's entertainment,
That's
and
exactly
that's how
right.
you look at it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just I feel like I'll just say as speaking from a father, we have to be more involved in our kids' life,
Mm-hmm.
and not just our kids, but our community.
Yeah.
We have to be more involved because all these kids, most of these kids, like you said before, like you joined a fraternity searching for that bond that you
Mm-hmm.
didn't get with your father,
Yeah.
you know, and that's all these other kids are looking for. They're looking for someone to look up to. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking for someone that'll sit down and listen to them,
Yes.
that'll pay
Absolutely.
attention to them. They're just not
Absolutely.
another face. Like
Yes.
like I said when I was talking about how some people they think like money buys everything. Be like instead
Yeah.
of spending time with your kid, be like, hey, cool, here's $500. Go to the store, go shopping. Just get out my
Yeah.
face. I don't feel like being
Yeah.
bothered. You know,
Yeah.
and then you wonder why with that $500 that kid done decided, oh no, I'm not gonna go in and buy some clothes.
Yeah.
I might sit there, I know somebody that go and buy me some drugs for me or some
Yeah.
alcohol for me. And the
Yeah.
next thing you know, they done got caught up in that scene. And then
Yeah.
you're sitting back as a parent like, why? Why did
Yeah.
you do that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pay more attention to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know that you care about. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like when what was that? I think it was MySpace when that was out
Yeah.
many,
Yeah.
many, many moons ago.
Yeah.
You know, my oldest two had a MySpace account. And I was like, okay, well, let me go ahead and give me a MySpace account. And y'all gonna be my friend. And I'm gonna monitor who y'all talk to, just see who y'all talking to. And
Yeah.
it's not about being nosy. It's about protecting my kids.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things that are going on, like all these, like the school shootings that were going on.
Yeah.
I just feel like
Yeah.
if you're a parent and you're involved in your kid's life, there'll be, pardon my French, but there'll be no way in hell
Yeah.
one of my kids will be plotting anything, building anything
Yeah. But you know
in their
what?
room, anywhere in the house.
But you know what? But see, that's
No
cultural.
way.
Right. Because in our community, African American community, even if the father's there or not, or if the mother, when they step in, it's that like they demand their respect. It's the tough love you want to call it. But I've
Yeah.
seen once again dealing with other communities, I seen how they talk to their. I was like, there is nowhere, even though my father wasn't there, I just knew not to do that. I saw people in other races and cultures talk crazy to their parents, slam the door, and I'm like, wow, really? And I get upset. I remember one of the pastors who got me to Sacramento, who I came down here with and stuff to help out with the church and stuff. He had a son like that. And me and Ken will be sitting up in his house like, really? You letting your kids talk to you like that? Your son just popping off at the mouth and cursing you out or saying, man, look, Phil, I just be up in the house so angry on the inside. I want to lay hands on them. They look like, well, no, just give them some air. No, this your house.
Right.
Get up out of here. but that's because they don't teach their kids how to respect them. That's what it
Yeah.
is. That's all it boils down to. Because your son, they're gonna know, like, I'm not gonna be building a bomb in my dad's house, and he not know. You're gonna go be going through that room. You're gonna probably be looking at when they go out, what's going on when they're there, what's going on. That's your job as a parent, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But some of these people in these other races, I'd be like, oh my god, like my mother would have never went for that ever.
I just feel that when it comes, discipline is a major part.
Yes.
Discipline is a major part because you have to teach that child right and wrong.
Yeah.
You know, you have to show, hey, there's 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 a line.
Yeah.
Here's that line. You do not cross that line.
Yeah.
And if you do cross that line,
Yeah.
these are the consequences that you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and some people, I ain't gonna lie. My son, PJ, he was he was still in the crib
Yeah.
and he slapped me. I
And
mean,
how was he? No, for how was
he
he?
had to be like he was like he was standing up. So I would say he might have been like one,
Oh, he was a baby.
maybe two,
Oh, he was a baby.
you
Okay,
know.
that's yeah.
Yeah, he was a baby. He was a baby,
Oh,
you know.
I
And
thought
he
like maybe like
slapped me.
19 or 20 or something. I'm like,
No,
yeah,
no, 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 no,
yeah,
no, no. But he smacked me, and I'm like, what? So I tapped him back, and he looked at me. I was like, yeah, you don't like that, do you? He was like, hmm, you know.
yeah,
He didn't do it no more. He said
yeah,
that he bit the shit out of me.
yeah,
I didn't bite the shit out of him, but I took him out, gave him a little nub. He was like, oh, I'm like, yeah, you don't like that, do you?
yeah.
And all I'm trying to do is just show him, hey, there's a line you don't cross.
Right,
You
exactly.
know, as he got
Yeah,
older, yeah, the discipline got a little more, but I'm a firm believer that discipline starts as soon as they do something against what you tell them not to do.
that's exactly right. 100%.
Because they're not gonna learn if you wait. Because I know some people, like I just know some people that be like, oh well, I can't handle this child, you know, and
Mm,
I sit there and tell them, well, the reason why you can't handle that child is because you need to discipline that child. I don't want to put nobody on blast, but it was one of my friends. You
mm-hmm.
know, she had a little boy, and I saw it. I saw how
Yeah,
bad he was, or how bad he was getting. You
yeah,
know, and she would buy him whatever. You know, every time we went somewhere, she's like, "Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna take." I'm like, "Why?" He has a toy store in his room. He
yeah,
doesn't need nothing else. You
yeah,
know, and I'm like, I get it, because some people they feel like, if they got that one parent household, that mother feels like, oh, I gotta do more because their father's not around. So
yeah,
they try to buy gifts and all this other stuff. And I try to tell them, like, that's not gonna work. I'm like, this little boy needs some discipline,
yeah,
you know, and because he had to have been 6 or 7 years old. And he's just already flipping off at the mouth, talking about what he ain't gonna do, and I'm
mm,
like, how about
yeah,
you just let me keep him for a weekend? You know,
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
get him in line for you. I ain't gonna
yeah,
kill the boy, but
yeah,
he's gonna respect you,
yeah,
you know. But she didn't. And I kept telling her, if you do not get a hold on that boy, he's gonna turn around, he's gonna put his hands on you.
wow.
And sure enough, he did. And he ended up going, I guess, the equivalent of the Audi home, and it's just, but he wasn't a dumb kid. He was a
Yeah,
smart kid.
yeah,
But but you have to, there has to be some boundaries, you
absolutely.
know. And some parents, I mean, I love all my kids. My kids, they can come to me and talk to me about anything. but they understand that I'm their dad.
Yeah.
I'm their father first.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a fine line when you're trying to be just their friend instead of being their parent. Because if you're trying to be their friend, guess what? They're gonna treat you like you're their friend.
Yeah.
They're not gonna give you the respect of a parent. They're gonna give you the respect of a friend.
Yeah. That's
and
exactly right.
I try to tell people that all the time, like, because all my kids love me to death.
Yeah.
And they would tell you, oh no, daddy did discipline us. Yeah, daddy did whoop us.
Yeah.
He did keep us, if we was wrong, we got in trouble.
Yeah.
And a lot of people growing up, they would look at me like, man, you're so mean to them. I'm like, I'm not mean to them. I'm like, if I was mean to them, why, whenever I walk in the room, they running up to me, jumping up on me because they want to be around me? I'm like,
Right.
I'm showing them that I love them enough to make sure that they don't do nothing stupid to hurt themselves.
Right.
I'm not whooping them just because.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that might have been what it was, when our parents were growing up. Yeah, that was child abuse.
It was definitely child abuse. 1,000% child abuse. Yeah.
That was child abuse.
I bear the scars today to show it.
Yeah. But that's not what, and one thing that I do when I discipline my kids, I always sit them down. And I know they probably hate it because I hate it for someone to sit down and talk to me about what I did wrong.
Yeah.
Just give me my whooping and let me go about my business. But I sat down and I asked them, you know why you get in trouble? They'll be like, yeah. I'm like, why? And then they'll explain it. Be like, okay, now you understand why you're getting this whooping, or why you're being grounded, or why you're in trouble. And it's just all about communicating and talking to them, and letting them know from jump, I'm the parent.
Right.
You're the child.
Exactly.
If I tell you to run and jump off the roof,
yeah,
you should question me about telling you to go jump off the roof. But you should be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna run and jump off this roof because I know that my daddy is not gonna put me in harm's way. And that's what I was trying to get them to understand. Growing up, like, hey, if I tell you to do something, it's for your benefit. Now, if you decide to go against what I told you to do, there's consequences. And those consequences, you better be ready to live by.
Yeah.
So
I wanna ask you a little bit more about, so what about the third child, Sharonda's daughter? How old is she, and what's your relationship like with her?
That was she pretty much kept
her away,
my daughter away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt because I love kids.
You do love kids. Child. That's one thing you do. You love kids.
So and I know what I wanted when I was a kid. I'm not saying that my dad didn't love me, but I wanted to see it more. I wanted to feel it more,
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like actually spend time with me, doing things, playing board games, watching TV. Me and my mom, we used to watch football, Monday Night Football. That's the only time she would let me stay up late. It was Monday nights to watch Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And it was those type of experiences that I wanted to have with all my kids. Something that they can look back on and be like, oh yeah, me and my dad, we used to do this, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, my third child, her mom just kept her away from me.
How old is she?
Matter of fact, she just turned 20. What year is this?
21.
25.
25. Wow.
Yeah. She just turned
Okay.
25. What's today? The
The
19th?
uh, the 19th. Yeah, June
3
19th.
days ago.
Okay, on the 16th. Wow.
Yep. She turned 25 and she's doing great. And me and her relationship had to get better,
Yeah.
because we weren't as close as I wanted us to be. But we
Yeah.
would talk. And I mean, we talked. She
Yeah.
came, she lived with me for a minute. I got upset with her because she did something she wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah.
And she tried to act like she controlled things. So I was like, yeah, get
Yeah.
out, go live with your mama, because I ain't
Yeah.
dealing with that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
And after that, yeah, she was upset.
Yeah.
But then later on, she came to me, we talked, and
Yeah.
now we talk.
Yeah.
It's a great relationship. It's
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it like this. I will never say everything is where it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
because things could always be better, you
Yeah.
know. But I will say that the relationship I have with my kids are better,
Yeah.
and they get better each and every day. My
Yeah.
last child, that one, my mom moved before she had the child,
How old is she?
and she's 22.
Okay.
She just turned 22 in March. Um, she just, and I was at the birth of all my kids except my
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
one. That was one thing. That's my child. I
Yeah.
want to be there. You
Yeah.
know. So, but the last one, she never told me. Um, she brought her to see me when she was like 3, 4 months old, and then after that, I didn't see her again until she was 10.
Yeah. Wow.
But we talked. That's
Mhm.
one thing that I wanted to make sure, like, okay, if I don't have the money to get down there and see you all the time,
Yeah.
I'm gonna at least call. As soon as she was of the speaking age where she could start talking,
Yeah.
I'm calling her,
Yeah.
talking to her, And when I finally came home from my first deployment in '09, I went to see her, and you can say that that's the first time that we were able to see each other. And it was awkward. It was very awkward. 10
Yeah.
years, you know,
Yeah.
it was very awkward. But she actually, it didn't last long,
Yeah. The
because we
awkward.
had been talking on the phone. Yeah, because we had been
Yeah.
talking on the phone. And then the first
Yeah.
night I was there, she stayed, with her grandmother. Um, and then after that, her and her sister and her friend, they was like, oh, okay. I was like, hey, y'all can come back to the hotel. I got a swimming pool. We'll go. We went out to see the Underground Railroad house. We went to Alex Haley's house where he
Yeah.
grew up in. Went around there, did some things. Then we went back to the hotel and went swimming, and we talked. And I got pictures and videos, all this other stuff of her opening up and and not looking like I don't know who you are. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And I think when it comes down to fathers in those situations, and even kids in those situations, it's trying to find a way to work past that awkward moment, that
Yeah.
awkward stage, to where it's like, I don't know what to say, and just actually just be yourself, you know,
Yeah.
because that's one
Yeah.
thing I did, when I got down there. Yeah, she did something she wasn't supposed to do. I had to tell her, like, no, don't talk to your grandmother that way. Don't do
Yeah,
this. Be that disciplinarian, even
yeah,
though, okay, yeah, I may not have been like right in your life,
yeah,
right there all this time, but I'm still your father. That's still your grandmother.
yeah,
You still gonna respect her, and you're
yeah,
gonna respect me. You
yeah,
know, and now me and her relationship is wonderful.
yeah.
She's actually wants to come and live with me and my wife now. You
Nice.
know, you know,
Okay.
in
Where's she located at? What state she's in?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, Phil, guess what?
Yeah.
We
So
have
it's
one.
like that's
That's it for this today's edition of Mental Health Matters. If you enjoyed this particular show, if you would like a DVD copy of the show, or if you would like to be a guest on the show, please dial 916 366 4600. Thank you.